Welcome. Let's talk about the Livelihood Empowerment Program, the LEAP as is popularly called. And I've been joined this morning by the Minister responsible for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Otiko, Afisa, Djaba. Welcome, madam. Good morning. And thank you very much. How's the weekend?
Busy.
What kept you busy? You want to share?
No.
You don't want to share. Anyway, so we understand that the 52nd cycle of the LEAP, 53rd, I must say, the LEAP is coming up, starting today through the 30th. Care to share what exactly LEAP is for those who do not know?
Okay, thank you very much, and a good morning to all your viewers. The LEAP is a cash payment, livelihood empowerment program that we've been doing since President Kufuor's era.
Right.
And this is the 53rd cycle payment. And basically, we give out cash grants bi-monthly. That means every 2 months. And it's in categories where if you have persons with disability who are not productive, because there are people who are disabled but they are productive.
Right.
That means they are working, maybe they are teachers or they have some form of income.
Exactly.
Yes. LEAP is for extreme poor. And Ghana has identified from the Ghana Statistical Service 2.2 million. And currently we are working on 950,000 in about 213,044 households. And so apart from persons with disability who are not productive, we also have the aged above 65. Also not being productive. So, for instance, your mother, if you are remitting her monthly, she will not qualify to be on the LEAP. Just because you are above 65 does not necessarily mean that you are going to
It's not a wholesale thing.
No. You have to fit in with what we call the PMT. They have a proxy means test, a questionnaire that they administer. And then when you qualify, and then there's a scoring and a ranking, then you would be...
You spoke about complementary service. What exactly is it? How does that fit into this whole plan?
Yeah. Before I get there, the other parts of it is that people who are also pregnant women and lactating mothers with children under 1 year who cannot work, they are also on it, and orphans and vulnerable children. So we give them 64 Ghana cedis if it is a household with 1 beneficiary. Where it is a household with 2 beneficiaries, we give them 76. So for instance, if there's a disabled person with a pregnant woman with a child under 1, that's 2. And then in a household where there are 3 beneficiaries, we give them 88 Ghana cedis. So you could have an orphan, you could have a pregnant woman, and then you could have a disabled person. And then where there are where there are 4 or more, then we give them 106 Ghana cedi. So it works out to about 1 cedi a day. It's not much, but it helps.
These monies, interesting, but these monies are given bi-monthly. That's every 2 months they receive this. Is it not woefully inadequate? 64 cedis, 76 cedis, 88 cedis, 106 cedis.
Yes.
Looking at the economy, looking at the cost of living, is it not inadequate?
It is, but that is to you and I. But to somebody who perhaps she's above 65, maybe all her children have passed away, she has no form of income, it's a lot of money for them in the village. And even some of them, we teach them how to save. And they are able to manage it and even save. And then we are building on it with what we call the cash plus, where those that are strong, productive, a little productive, we are, in terms of the LIPW, we are able to give them startups and training. And some of them there's a blind woman in Bongo, she rears animals. Others are doing rope making or what do you call it, basketry. You talked about the complementary services. The complementary services in terms of capitation grant, national health insurance, giving free exercise books, planting for food, and jobs. Those are the complementary services that we add on. And so it's not only giving the LEAP, but where LEAP is given, do we give exercise books there? are those children on national health insurance, and then we put the orphans and vulnerable children on national health insurance, as well as the aged and even prisoners. This last year we launched the program of putting prisoners onto the national health insurance, and over 13,000 prisoners are being enrolled onto the national health. I just wanted to let you also know that out of the total number of people, the 950,000, orphans and vulnerable children account for 42%. And then the elderly above 65 are 32%. Disabled are 18%, and then infants.
What impact does this initiative have on the lives of these beneficiaries? I still am struggling to get. I mean, 2 months.
You've never lived in the village.
So I want to know. I'm
you
curious.
don't know poverty. That's why. I lived.
Well, I do a lot of community work. I see people, you know, but then I'm wondering what the impact.
I worked in very deprived communities for 10 years. Where no light, no water, nothing. And so in those communities, sometimes the whole sale of a person, maybe they are selling cocoa or whatever, is 2 cedis. So if you give them 1 cedi, they are able to manage it. In the village, some of them have farms, so they supplement the whatever we give to them. The fact is that they are extreme poor people, but for this 1 cedi a day, they will starve. Because they don't have anybody to help them. Like I said, they're very aged or they're disabled who don't have anybody to take care of them. Some are very sick. They can't even come for the cash grants themselves because they are bedridden. And so they have carers who come to take it for them. And so those are some of the issues. Sometimes when you go for payments, there are complaints that able-bodied persons are there.
That's a genuine concern.
Yes. That's why I'm addressing it. Those abled persons are largely caregivers of bedridden people who cannot come, or a woman who has just given birth. She cannot come to the cash point with the new baby, so she will give the card to somebody else. However, there are ghost names, and there are some people who should not even be caregivers who are there on it. And so we have started an audit to be able to get them out of the
When is
system.
this audit done? And
The audit has started for us to clean up the register to be able to say that you are qualified. Because, you know, a lot of people want to cut corners and get monies that they shouldn't be getting.
I'm happy that you're looking at a pro-poor policy. But you're a minister for social protection as well. How safe is Ghana's safety net for the poor? How is it? How do we bridge the gap? The recent figures that came out for our population says we have 29.6 million, and we have a dependency rate of 73%, which means that we have a lot more people who are not financially, you know, competent, if you will. How safe is our safety net for the poor, especially?
In a developing country with a huge debt that we inherited from the previous administration, you cannot clean poverty like that. And so we have risks, and that we cannot cover everybody at the same time. As I said, we have about 2.2 million determined as extreme poor, and we are only at 950,000. So the 1-point-something million, what is happening to them? Government alone cannot do it, but for the ones that we are able to manage, we give them that safety. It's not only about their consumption, we also look at their health. That's why we include putting them on the national health insurance. We are also talking to the World Bank to expand and go to the new GSOP, where we are looking at a hand up and not just a cash grant. Giving out money is a handout, but we want to teach people how to fish. And so that pilot in Bongo, we want to expand it throughout the country so that those who are a little bit strong, you know, there are aged people who can do things, and so those ones will be put on the startups and the training programs and all of that. Currently, as I said, we are at 213,044 households. We are doing an expansion, targeting to be able to hit 456,000. And so it will also bring in more people.
Where does the money come from? That's the big question, because if it's a good initiative, we want sustainability. Where do we draw the monies from?
Money comes from Government of Ghana, and then it also comes from the World Bank and also from DFID. And so we have a program, indeed, per the Millennium Development Goals that we were part of. We're able to have poverty. Yes, things have deteriorated a little, but we are working on it, because you see, poverty is dynamic. Through an accident, you can become disabled and not able to manage. You can go to the hospital and have stroke or some form of ailment or wrong medication can turn you into a bedridden person who needs help. You can also win the lottery and be rich and be leapt out of poverty, or a gas explosion. So we have an emergency leap for victims of the gas explosion. The Kintampo problem that we had, the waterfront in terms of central region, we had issues with flooding and all of that. So we have what we call the emergency leap for 3 months.
How does that apply to all the children I see begging on the streets?
That's a different matter.
From Kaswa to Malam through airport all the way to Adenta. And you see them there, they're sleeping at their Kaukudi and all of that.
Do they have parents?
I don't know. You tell me. You're a gender social protection
minister.
So
we have initiated a program. It's a new initiative that I brought in called Operation Get Off the Street Now for a Better Life. And so you can't also just remove them. They have rights. And so we are doing a mapping and a database, identifying shelters, organizing a reintegration program. Those who have homes, where are their homes? Can they go back home? Was there a problem there why they left? Some of them, it's the parents who ask them to come and sell ice water.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. And some of them, they take contracts to push the persons with disability. Others come to clean the screens of cars. Others come to sell pure water, plantain chips, and all of that. So the program is to look at the numbers. Those who are of school-going age in Ghana since FQ 1992. Every child of school-going age must be in school and stay in school. So parents must be aware of that, so that during school hours, children should not be on the street. Those who are disabled, we have rehabilitation centers. They are in a very bad condition. We're looking at private partnership to rehabilitate them, so that when we get the numbers across the country, we can put them there to learn how to make shoes.
How soon are we getting the children off the streets? That's the big question that my viewers have been asking.
Yes, we have a 5-year program. It depends on the availability of rooms in the schools and the number of children. And so this September, our program is to take some of them off. But we need to know the numbers, and that's what the mapping and the database is about.
Oftentimes when some of these things have been done, people are cleared off the streets, they're taken into shelters, some come back. There are issues of rape and all of that. And sometimes even those who report the issues of rape can't guarantee their own safety any longer. How are we looking at that as well from where you sit as Minister for Gender?
It is some form of moral depravity that a man will want to sleep with a 2-year-old or less. And so...
Are our laws not punitive enough?
The laws are there. The laws are there. In terms of defilement, you cannot put somebody in jail for more than a minimum of less than 7 years and a maximum of 25 years. And with rape, it's 5 years and then a maximum of 25 years. If it is somebody not being in school or child marriage, is 1 year or 500 Ghana cedis or both. But the enforcement is not there. The enforcement is not there. You, when you have a problem with traffic or something, they will call you that you should go to MTT. You'll be looking for a minister or somebody to say, hey, it's only a minor offense.
We don't do that here at TV.
It has to stop. I'm using you as an example, that for the law to work, it must be enforced. And then education, the ministry advocates, there are policies and laws against this since independence, and yet people are still doing them. And so we are going to intensify the advocacy. Another initiative I've brought in and talking to Ghana Bureau of Languages is to turn all this into our languages. Because a lot of our people can't
localize
read,
it.
Yes, English. So in Chi, in Ewe, Dagbani, in Zama, and then Dagar is what we are going to start with, and do it in voice. because I speak Gonja, but I don't read Gonja. So there's a need for people who can speak but cannot read a dialect to also have it in voice. Right. So Ministry of Information, the mobile vans will be using them, and I would need the media to also give us free airtime so that we can do our talks, social protection drive talk. So you can give us the time.
We'll be happy to host you every now and then. And, I want to look at some key policies that you want to pursue, during your tenure. But interestingly, there's been a new wave of gender. Pepper them, sugar them, feed them, all of those ones. I'm sure you heard about it. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's an interesting time. By the grace of God, our president has been made the champion, AU champion of gender, and also the SDG co-chair. Alleviating poverty, eradicating it is a serious business. Poverty kills people. It's like a disease. And so when you have the sugar them and the pepper them and all the other groups coming in, it's all to help.
People think they are extremists and that they are taking gender to a different level and promoting extremism.
I think that what is extreme is somebody who goes to rape a woman or to defile a child. That is extreme.
Right.
But for people who are coming in to say that, oh, let's pamper men. We have the He for She program that we launched last year.
Right, I remember.
To get our men to support the women, to get our boys so that in the home, early socialization, boys and girls cook, they wash, they do the house chores so that girls are not tired when they get to school. We should stop teenage pregnancy and child marriage.
Right.
So in terms of people who feel that they should pepper them, they have a way of talking about it. And then those who say we should sugar them, they also have their way. So both of them can be married together to be able to achieve gender equality and equity. That is what we are looking for. Some people are feminists. Are they extreme? People have died for women to have universal suffrage. Today we take it for granted. But once upon a time, women were not in school. Women did not vote. It has taken a lot of activism.
Right.
And now we have the affirmative action bill that is at a cabinet level, and we need your help to get it.
I'm happy you brought the affirmative action. The persons with disability, i.e. those who are visually impaired, our friends who have albinism and all autism, of that. They say oftentimes when we talk about affirmative action, it only goes to speak for women and not necessarily persons who are disadvantaged in that direction. What do you say to that?
I would say that
is this new bill tackling that?
Definitely, because I met them out there. They were part of the stakeholder discussions, the very people who are coming to talk to you now.
Right.
Yes, you know, the National Council on Persons with Disabilities is also under the Ministry of Gender. And so we cannot do anything. That is why the LEAP, Persons with Disability, are a part of it. They were part of the stakeholder discussions. We have included their views. And then we have the bill for persons with disability. And so that also is being reviewed and will be sent to Cabinet and to Parliament this year. So persons with disability have been discriminated against and marginalized.
Does it worry you that Parliament, of all places where the law on disability was passed, to have public buildings have ramps? 10 years after that, Parliament doesn't have the ramps. Does it worry you?
Yes, it is worrying, and it's one of the things that we are talking about. Even my office is not friendly to persons with disability. So I've called the engineers to come and look at how they can make it more friendly and put in a ramp. The thing is, because of issues of money, old buildings will be difficult to modernize, to make them more accessible. But as much as can be done, we should be able to, where it is easy to do it, we should do it. But with the new ones, we are insisting that every new building should be friendly to persons with disability. And the thing is that it's about money. And so we are going to look at private sector as well as, and you know, the Ministry of Gender, our budget was only 2.3 million for this year. How are you going to do all this? But there is collaboration.
There's collaboration.
The ministry will collaborate with all other ministries so that if Ministry of Agric has structures, they should make them disability friendly.
On that note of collaboration, somebody sent a message ahead when we put out this advert that you're going to be here, that you've been accused of collaborating with party people to give school feeding contracts to party people. Is it entirely correct? Is it
giving school feeding to
contracts to party
people? Why party people? Are they not Ghanaians? But school feeding is given to anybody who applies. Everybody is entitled to it. So you apply, you go for an interview, and you are taken. We need to stop this hypocrisy. The point is that school feeding is to alleviate poverty in the farmer. And so we have agreed that we're no longer going to import rice, but we will buy from the local farmers. So we are inculcating that into the caterers. We are also supposed to alleviate poverty in the women. So it creates jobs. Also alleviate poverty in the children and give them food to eat. A lot of children in rural Ghana don't go to school to learn. They go to eat. And today they become journalists and what have you. Look, this is development. And it is a serious business. You have to devoid it of I know that school feeding and other activities have been marred with partisanship. But we are cleaning it up. We are moving. And that will be a gradual process to ensure that poverty has no color. It's not about ethnicity or religion or your party. Poverty is poverty. And anybody can be poor. And so we are working to that effect to ensure that we make things better. And so even the amounts of money used to be 80 pesos for school feeding. Now it is 1 cedi. From January, the new program is that they will be paid, the caterers will be paid 1 cedi per child per cooking day. The other part of it is that this is the first time in the history of Ghana that caterers have been paid in less than 3 months. Usually it's beyond 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and so on. But people think that Otiko is the minister, Nanado is the president, we should wave a magic wand, and so they will be complaining. It's okay to complain, but we must find solutions. And the solutions will not be in just my bosom, but in yours and the rest of Ghana. So that
I thank you very much for your time. We're grateful. I wish you all the best as you roll out the 53rd cycle of the LEAP program. Begins today, ends on the 30th. But happy birthday to Ruth Shandoff, to Samiba, as well as David Kofite, aka Kofi Dalkish. They call him baby boy here at TV3. Yes.
There are unscrupulous people who take advantage of the poor. Yes. True. In the 52nd, I was in Kumasi, and there was a rumor that Nana Addo Dankwa, the president, says that anybody who is above 65 should pay 10 cedis and they will be put on the LEAP. It is never true.
It's not true.
The processes that I have described to you is the only way through which
when you fill the form, you apply, we vet you.
You don't even fill a form. We have enumerators who come to your community and give out a questionnaire. The proxy means
what happens to those people, those unscrupulous? Do you arrest them and prosecute them?
I'm going to use this your platform that the police should do that, and that they should not take advantage of people. Or maybe you are a carer. You go and collect money for a sick person, then you use the money for yourself or other things.
I'm grateful for your time. Thank you very much. We'll be back.